If you ever been an extra or a background actor on a TV show or film, what was the craziest thing you witnessed?
So back in 2006, when I first moved to Los Angeles, I did background as my full-time job. It was a hustle, but back in the day, you could do it as your full-time job. Anyway, I used to work on How I Met Your Mother a lot. Like I did it like 6 or 7 times because the casting director really liked me. The thing about background work is that they will hire anyone. Apparently, when you get out of jail, they give you a list of companies that will just hire you on the spot. And background is at the top of the list, which honestly, super progressive, love it. Everyone deserves the right to work. But one day, I'm sitting on the set of How I Met Your Mother, and a guy literally pulls out a crack pipe, lights up, takes a hit, and then offers me a hit of crack. Which, like, live your life, get your jush. No drug shame for me, but I was like, Neil Patrick Harris, you're the lead of this show.
So technically this is not something I witnessed on set. This was something that happened to me while I was working as a TV extra that is both embarrassing and also ridiculous. So back in 2015, I was filming on Doctor Who as a sister of Khan. Actually, it was while filming this scene right here. That is me. And it was a very small set that day and a very long scene, and I was wearing a lot of layers, and I started to feel hot and woozy, and I realised I was going to pass out. So as I was falling to the floor, I said, "I'm so sorry," and then hit the deck. When I come back around, I am apologising for ruining the take and asking if my really expensive prop is okay, and someone is behind me helping me up, and they're like, "Stop worrying about the take or your prop, we need to check you, you're the most important thing here." And as I turn around to say thank you, I realise the person helping me up is Peter Capaldi, Doctor Who himself, who has run from the other side of set to check I'm okay. So yeah, I literally got saved by the doctor, and if anyone at the BBC has that footage, I would like to see it.
Okay, so I'm on set for this TV show. I'm in hair and makeup. I'm literally sitting in between 2 of the stars for the show. And so, you know, the makeup artists are kind of talking to each other around me as they, like, prepare what they're gonna do. And I hear one of them mention how, like, she's a little lighter than the actress. And the other makeup artist is like, yeah, you're right. But like facial features wise, like right here, like she's a dead mat. So they're just talking around me, like not to me, whatever. I'm just on my phone chilling. So they start doing my makeup. So like I'm half watching them do my makeup, halfway on my phone. And I noticed like my foundation is getting darker and darker. Now y'all, I'm not shit yet. I have no clout, no pull, no nothing. This job is the first time I've ever had my own little trailer on set. I'm getting special treatment, sitting in between big leagues. And my makeup just keeps getting darker and darker. Before I show these pictures, I'm gonna preface this by saying I was so uncomfortable. I had no idea they were gonna do this to me. And if I knew beforehand, I would not have accepted the job. Me realizing what's going on. Like y'all, who thought that this was a good idea? I've honestly been debating telling this story for the longest. Y'all cannot cancel me for it. So I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and I've been an extra a couple of times. One of the last jobs I worked before I moved to New York, I applied for a casting of a 20s African-American woman to play the younger version of an actor in a wedding photo. So I submit my info, my photos. A couple of days later, I get a call and saying I'm booked. So I go in early for a fitting. It's a period piece, so it's like a 1930s wedding dress, really awesome. And then the day that I'm due on set, you know, I have an early call time, I get there. And you know, usually as an extra, there's separate like extras, hair and makeup, extras holding, different craft services, all of that from the lead principal cast. But for this photo shoot, like I actually have my own trailer, and there's a PA to come get my breakfast order, and like they take me to hair and makeup, and I'm like with the main cast, and it's like, oh, hold on. Of course, that's when things take a turn for the worst.
This isn't really crazy, but I love telling this story. When I was about 14, I was an extra on a show, and one of the characters went to a prep school, and so whenever there were scenes there was a horde of us, and we always came in. So there's this one scene where it's this really cute younger guy, the love interest, talking to the main girl, and me as an extra, I like walked past them in front of the camera, and then we were supposed to like go into this hallway, and after I walked past, the scene was over, and he also kind of followed in the same direction as me. But the door was locked, so we had to all kind of huddle in this hallway so that it looked like we were just walking in there. And so as he walks past, he just like gets right up close to me because we're having to hide. And I was like, oh, he smells so good. He smells like strawberries. So I told him, I was like, you smell so good. You smell like strawberries. And he goes, oh, thank you so much. It's so nice. That man was Timothy Chalamet. I didn't know till a few years later. So now he knows he smells like strawberries. We're in love. Did y'all know?
So I was extra on Grey's Anatomy, and everyone was so nice. I mean, like, so nice. Everyone except for... So we were shooting the scene where they're supposed to be taking tests so they could become doctors. And all the extras are in place. They come in, and the director's like, okay, everybody, let's go. Let's get in places. And everyone, all of the stars get out of their chairs and they come and get in their place except for her. So she's sitting there and the director's like trying to bargain with her. She's yelling at everybody. She's yelling at her assistant. And then she like storms out and leaves. And all of us are standing there and the director's like, okay, you know, let's take a minute. So they sent the extras into this room and we were like, what the heck? I was like, you know how much you're getting paid to do this? Like, for real, you're really going to be like that? It was like maybe an hour or so before she actually came back to do the scene, and she had a bad attitude the whole time. She was rude.
So my first time ever on set for anything was for Stranger Things. 10 out of 10, best summer of my whole life. You only really see me for this mall scene, but I was on set for this and the pool scene where I met Billy. And for the fangirls, yes, I met Joe on like my first day. If you want to find out how I got on set, you can watch my little YouTube video on it, but let me get to the stories. So what they don't tell you about Starcourt Mall, also known as the Gwinnett Mall, which is a pretty dead mall. Nothing really happens there. Someone was literally murdered in this mall like a couple of days or weeks before filming. And we were all pretty sure the only reason she was found is because they had to clear out the mall for filming. And me and a couple other friends were mall workers. I was a hot Sam girl way in the back. Behind the restaurants, there are these little walkways and storage closets. And one of the PAs informed us the restaurant that my friend was working at was where the dead body was found.
I can't believe I'm outing myself like this again. Little known fact, I was on Jerry Springer. Not an extra, I was actually on it. I went with my 2 friends and my baby's dad. Well, to make a long story short, on the day of filming, you are not with your people at all. There's like 4 different rooms and you each get separated into a different room with people that you do not know. So after about 9 hours of not being with the people that I came with, I was tired, I was nervous because I didn't want to go on stage anymore. I was like regretting all my decisions. So then the producer comes up to me before I go on stage and tells me that my baby dad, my boyfriend at the time, had been talking to another girl all day, did not want to stay in the hotel with me that night, and then tomorrow did not want to go home with me. So I was pissed when I went out on stage. I'm running out of time, part 2. Okay, so part 2. So she tells me this right before I was supposed to go on stage, and it was supposed to be a blind reaction. So when I went out, I was not allowed to react or be upset. So I put on my game face. I went out on stage. I let him tell me that he was cheating on me, which we knew beforehand that he was going to come forward with the story about. And I unleashed. I punched him square in his jaw as hard as I could on national television. So we go backstage after everything's done filming, and we all like get to reunite and we're all hugging each other, excited and stuff. And at that point his lip was split because I had hit him so hard. And he kept telling me how beautiful I look, things like that. And then he goes, but why did you hit me so hard? So I explained what they had told me beforehand, and I was like, you're caught, like, I'm cool, I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Nope, he never said that. They just said it to get a rise out of me, and they do that pretty frequently, actually. Since you're all separated throughout the day, there's no way for you to fact check it.
Okay, so I was in the graduation scene of Mamma Mia 2, and it was the 3rd day of filming, and we were doing the bit where all the dancers and extras are like dancing around in the green area before Donna, Tanya and Rosie jump off the barge into the water. So we were between takes having a little rest, and Lily James was sitting in her actor chair, obviously far away from all the dancers and extras, and I looked over and I could see her like sitting on her phone, and this makeup artist came over to like touch up her makeup, and I kid you not, she did this. And just kept typing. And this poor makeup artist was standing there like just having to wait. Like, she didn't even have the decency to like say, sorry, could you just give me a second? And I thought it was really rude, actually, and not really been a fan since. So I'm really sorry to shatter anyone's illusions of Lily James being lovely. Not my experience.
I really hope I don't get in trouble for telling this story. So this story takes place on the set of Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. Great show. It's about a girl, Zoe, played by Jane Levi, whose brain gets fucked up by an MRI machine, and she can hear people's inner thoughts through like song and dance. So there's this one scene where she's in a coffee shop with her best friend, played by Skylar Astin. The girl who's serving them coffee dated Skylar Astin's character, and she bursts out into You Give Love a Bad Name. I'll show you a small clip. So during that scene where she throws the drink in his face, okay, the floor is wet, we're doing another take. This girl jumps up on the counter to dance, jumps back down, and she fully eats shit. She smashes her face on the counter and then falls behind it. And we're all just like, oh shit. And this is when I realized that actors in Hollywood are kind of terrible people. Okay, so this is part 2 of the extra story. So this girl eats shit behind the counter, and as extras, we're not allowed to do anything. We're not allowed to leave our marks. We're not allowed to do anything. So we're just like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? Jane literally just stands there, like, staring off into space, and then she turns around and walks out. And I was like, you're not even gonna check up on her? And, like, Skylar is, like, mouth covered. He's like, are you okay? Like, not knowing what to do at all. And I'm like, fucking go help her. Obviously, like, the crew is like, oh my god, are you okay? They called an ambulance, everything. Because, like, she was on the ground. Like, I think she spoke, like, 2 words. She was like, yeah, like, I'm okay. But she was like, I don't know if she, like, knocked herself out. Like, couldn't see her. She was behind the counter. But yeah, then the actors just, like, left and never came back. And that was the end of that shooting day.
So I used to be a child extra when I was younger, and I used to do a lot of like period dramas for the BBC. I never knew what I was filming ever. I just showed up and they were like, do this, and I was like, okay. We got to the set and this woman said to me, you cannot speak to the lead actress, like you just cannot, no kids allowed. So I heard that and went, I'm gonna speak to the lead actress. After she finished, I went up to her and said, I absolutely loved you in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. She was Helena Bonham Carter. You know, one of the best actresses ever of all time. And I said I remember her from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's me and Helena, best friends. She was so nice. She gave me chocolate digestives and gave me tips on how to act. She gave me such motivation. She was such a sweetheart. She didn't need to do half the things she did for me, but she did them. I'll forever love you, Helena Bonham Carter.
If you ever been an extra or a background actor on a TV show or film, what was the craziest thing you witnessed? I'll go first. So I live in New York City, and I was an extra on Law and Order. SBU. Yeah, baby. I'm officially a New York actor. Anyway, I got to meet Mariska Hargitay along with the other extras. We were all protesters for a scene outside City Hall in downtown Manhattan. She came over to us. She was super nice. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe she's like the nicest person in the world. Then she walked away to go talk to the director. Then she had to cross through the extra area to get back to her trailer. And that's when the weird shit happened. One of the extras was just a little too friendly with her and decided to caress her back. Yes, you heard me. Oh my God, Mariska, I love you. Oh my God, I love you. I love you. I love you. Girl, stop. You ruined it for all of us. Well, guess what? Mariska never came back because she was creeped all the way out.